chase. We love Nicolas Cage, star of screaming stage. Gonna watch him all day while he's screaming with rage. Cause we're unlocking the cage.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Unlocking the Cage. I am your host, Meg. I'm here with my co-host, Chris.
Hello,
Chris,
how are you today, Meg? How you doing?
thank you for asking. I'm great. I put in earrings for the first time in months just to make sure I could still do that. So that's
I
excitement
didn't.
over here.
I didn't put in earrings today.
Well, I'm glad you didn't. It would have probably been pretty painful.
I
for
put
you.
in rear rings.
What's a rear ring? No, I
What's
don't.
that?
I don't want to know. All right, so this is Unlocking the Cage. We are live recorded every Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, twitch.tv/managerscomedy. If you're listening to the podcast version of this, you can find old episodes on youtube.com/managerscomedy if you prefer to see the visuals, which for today's episode will be particularly interesting. Just going to say that. And particularly untranslatable to podcast format. So today's episode is It Could Happen to You. And we have a guest today. You can catch her on Sleepover at 2MB Studios, which is twitch.tv/2MB Studio with an S. Anyway, we'll ask her when she comes out. Every second and fourth Saturday, it is actor and improviser Lauren Chapman.
Hello, Lauren.
Hey, Lauren.
Oh man, yeah, I gotta work on that music that plays. It's like, I don't know, the volumes are weird. Anyway,
It's very aggressive.
It's aggressive. I need to come. I gotta ask Will to do a different sting when we transfer from this to the guest zone.
Maybe we could have him say something like
appropriate for Nicolas Cage, though. It's big and in your face.
Yeah, and like unexpectedly.
Yeah, and just like a little bit like unsettling.
Yeah. Too
we should
loud.
get him to do one of the vocal ones and like just have it like be like welcome guest or something like that.
So anybody in the audience at any time, please feel free to inform me of any technical difficulties, like if our volumes are too low or anything like that. I have no clue what's going on. I can't listen to the monitor or anything, so just let me know.
Anyway. Lauren, how's it going over there? You said you had a lot of snow in Boston.
Yes, it is snowing. It is not pleasant to drive in, and our dog doesn't enjoy it. But I haven't left the house, so it doesn't really matter to me.
I was sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say my mom's in Rhode Island, and she's sending me pictures, and it's like not huge accumulations like we had like years ago in Boston, but it's like it's getting there. You get a little snow.
It's significant enough that it's not pleasant, I would say, to walk through if you had to.
Yeah, it's like
as someone who recently lived in Los Angeles too, like do you find the weather to be as annoying as I imagine it would be moving back after?
Okay. So it's very
I feel like she's about to get real right now.
Oh, okay, because I really like running, and like there is no way I'm running in the winter here because I will slip on black ice and I will die, and that would be horrible. So now I have to run inside on a treadmill, which like is such a stupid thing to complain about because I have a treadmill inside, and that's a really nice privilege. But I miss being outside and being able to like walk around outside without being afflicted by the cold all the time.
Yeah, I think I would miss that too. It's that's so funny. Like you guys did move though. If you're gonna move at any time, at the exact right time to move away from LA, because it was right before the pandemic hit, and you got away from all these crazy high LA rents.
Yeah, and we were happy about being away for that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Nicolas Cage, guys. We picked this movie. So Lauren, you chose this movie today. It Could Happen to You, and you actually this was the first movie you requested. And you said you were planning on watching it anyway this week. Mm-hmm. So the timing worked out great. So what was it? What prompted you to pick this movie?
Okay. So I had a different reaction this time I watched this movie. When I first watched this movie, way back when, I think I must have been in high school and it just like came up on TV. I thought it was adorable. I thought Nicolas Cage was so likable. I loved the couple of Bridget Fonda and Nicolas Cage. I thought it was so romantic. So I thought, like, oh, what a great Valentine's Day-esque movie to watch. That's not a basic Valentine's Day movie because it's not super well known. This time I watched it. I do not like Nicolas Cage. I do not like him. He is a villain.
I had a similar experience too, because I remember watching this as a younger, like a kid, and thinking, "Oh, it's a feel-good, happy movie."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, Charlie and Yvonne, what a couple!" Yes, and then no, I am Team Muriel, and I hate Nicolas Cage in this movie.
Wait, okay, all right, that's totally different than I was saying. You're Team
100%
Muriel.
Team Muriel.
Oh fuck, that's a That's a hot take. Wow.
No, it is not a hot take. Not when I lay out the facts.
I just want to point out something because when we had Lauren's husband Dan on, he did the movie Face Off, and he started off strong by saying that Castor Troy was the hero of the story. So I would like to hear your similar thesis on this.
As we go through this movie, you will so slowly but surely be on my side. And you will know that the rightful person ended up with the millions and then was cruelly scammed out of them.
Twice. So really, you could say there was one attempted scamming, and then a second actual scamming. And really, this is okay. I understand.
Double scam.
I think I'm starting to see where you're coming from.
Tragic life.
Dan in the chat said, Danny said, your husband says Castor Troy is the hero. I don't know. I don't remember us even coming. I forget everything about that movie. One comes in, another leaves. So
He does. Castor Troy does save John Travolta's daughter by saying, like, by giving her a knife to stab that would-be rapist, and then doesn't he like smack him down?
Oh,
so, like, he saves her.
He beats the hell out of the dude from that 70s show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he saves her. So, like, a life was saved.
I do want to point out that Castor Troy literally starts the movie by murdering a child.
So he breaks even, is what you're saying. He
That is
saves
true.
one, he kills the other.
Even. At least he's not John Travolta, overwhelmed by guilt and ignoring his family.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, John Travolta's the worst.
He does.
And honestly, John Travolta, if a man was out to kill him, why take your son into a public location? Just out as a target.
Yeah, they didn't show the sidelines of that, which was he was using his son as bait to lure in Castor Troy or something crazy like that at the top of the movie.
All right, so let's before we dig into this movie, I just want to give you guys a little background on the movie. Some of this you may know. So this movie was made in 1994, which for me, whenever I think of 1994, the first thing I think of is that the album Nevermind by Nirvana came out. Every single time I see 1994. Actually, wait, no, that's not true. I think that's when Kurt Cobain died. This is not a Nirvana podcast. I am having some brain farts here. Okay. This movie was made for $20 million. It made $37 million, so it was successful. Generally positive reviews. Directed by a guy named Andrew Bergman, who also wrote Blazing Saddles and Striptease, which you guys remember as the Demi Moore movie.
Oh.
He also wrote Honeymoon in Vegas, which he directed as well, which is another Nick Cage movie. This movie was written by someone named Jane Anderson. There weren't really any other credits for her that I recognized. So it's of the time. It's a feel-good romantic comedy, mid-90s. I think this part of Nicolas Cage's career, this is like right around like Face Off, Con Air. The other one.
The other one.
Sorry, I am off today. Hold on. There was a couple other movies that came out this year of his. This is the same year as Guarding Tess and Trapped in Paradise, so kind of a big comedy year for him. And then 2 years later, next year is Leaving Las Vegas, then The Rock, then Con Air and Face Off. Anyway, that's the background to this movie. Let's get into it. So you guys have both seen it before. Lauren, you talked a little bit about you remember it. Chris, do you remember anything about the movie from the first time you watched it?
Just that I didn't even remember he was a cop. Just I remember that he gave her half his winnings from the the lottery, and honestly, that was it. And I just remember, oh, it's a feel-good movie. He ends up with her in the end, and that was all.
Wait, can I ask, you didn't remember? Because when I think of this movie, I do think of like the base plot, but I also think how lovely of a story it's based on.
Right. Yes, that's the other thing, is it's based off of a real story.
Sort of.
Sort of. Yeah.
Sort of.
I honestly like the real story better.
The real story is nice because the cop and the waitress actually knew each other and they picked the numbers together and they're both like, all right, shake on it. We'll split it. And then they did. And then they both lived happy lives with their own significant
Wait,
others.
let's cut to the picture of oh god. Wrong. Oh god. I'm hitting lots of buttons. Anyway, sorry about that. Let's cut to some pictures of these guys.
Oh yeah, so we can compare what they actually looked like.
Yeah. So on the picture on the right, they are the two people on the right. And then this is them on the left, which is a really crappy picture. But like, I just love that he's a cop. He's known this waitress for like 15 years. And he's like, hey, her name is Phyllis. Phyllis, let's pick some numbers together. And then they split it. How sweet
They're
is that?
legitimately friends.
Yeah. I don't
That's
know.
really sweet.
It's really cute. Anyway. So.
So yeah,
cops.
so general impression. So you, Chris, you didn't really remember it. Lauren, obviously, you came away completely opposite from what you remembered. So let's get into it. So we start off with sort of introducing the main characters, right? We've got Nicolas Cage, the cop. I don't remember his name, and he is just
I don't remember his name.
the cop's
Charlie.
name. Charlie, thank you. Lauren.
Oh,
I
sorry.
appreciate it. Yeah, the cop's
His name is Charlie.
And like his only character trait that we can see is he's just too nice, right?
Yeah, he's just like the best cop in the world. Like he's
just such a good.
Yeah, like he's playing stickball in the streets with kids. Like stickball is actually a thing that exists. Like, what is that about?
He's just whatever. The
Just
most
wholesome.
He's this wholesome man. And then he's got this partner. And then Yvonne is in bankruptcy court. Or she's like talking to a judge. And how she declares bankruptcy is the judge just stamps bankrupt on her thing, which is not how it works in real life. Like it's
Yeah. Well, because she's like, my husband ran up all my bills. It's not me. I don't know what to do. What can I do? So the judge is like, I know what you can do. Bankrupt.
It's like, first off, you got to bring your husband in because if you declare bankruptcy, it's going to greatly affect his credit also. Also, like if you declare bankruptcy, there's a lot more paperwork involved. And then once you do win the lottery, they're going to garnish some of that money. Like there's all these things I didn't go into. She's like, nope, bankrupt.
And so
her husband is a no good Nick.
Yeah,
Stanley
Tucci, no good Nick. We don't like him. He doesn't show up till later. But the things we learned about Yvonne's personality is she is also just a really good person. The only difference between her and Nicolas Cage is that she at least seems to have a sense of humor.
Yeah. Very kind, loves people, so kind, loses her glasses, sense of humor.
Not above. I will say she's not above throwing a bunch of cigarette ashes in a cup of coffee that she gives to her mean boss.
Okay, when I saw that, I told Dan, I was like, if I saw a waitress do that, I would immediately say something. And this is now when we know how bad cigarettes are. And maybe in 94, we didn't understand that yet. But I would never share anything with her if I saw that, because that is evil.
And like, I don't think ash dissolves. It's ash. It's going to float.
But he likes it. The coffee shop owner gets a nice little moment where he's like, damn good cup.
You catch him later in the film, like he's making a coffee, just like flicking ash into it like himself. I'm addicted now.
So we introduced all these characters. Oh, I forgot about Muriel. Muriel being Charlie's wife.
The poor sweet Muriel.
Rosie Perez.
Now, Rosie Perez
is a lady. No, I was just saying, like, Muriel is like, she's just a lady who's like working hard and expects an equal, like, kind of mentality from her partner, which she should. She wants someone who wants to build a good life together with her. And he's just like, we're fine. I'm a good cop.
I kind of want to actually. I'm starting to turn over to Lauren's side here because
Yeah.
there's a
She's saying things like, this apartment isn't big enough for us. We cannot have children in. And he's like, nah, cops have children. And she's like, but practically speaking, we cannot there's no place to put a child. And he's like, it's going to work out. And she's like, I am trying to make things work out. You are not trying to make things work out with me.
the other thing to point out here is Rosie Perez. I don't know how old the character is, but her age was 30 when she filmed this. Nick Cage is over 30. They met in high school. They've been together for close to 20 fucking years.
Yeah. They clearly like decided to go in this together. Like clearly Nicolas Cage, being such a good guy, like made promises to her about building a life. If she still has this mentality of like, we are going to build a life together. And Nicolas Cage is sitting back being like, I enjoy playing neighborhood stickball and not working as hard as you are.
So like really, wow, that not, when you kind of put now it's like there's like things clicking in my head. Like this, he's
The
so
kind thing for Nicolas Cage to do would be to say, look, Rosie Perez, like we were together a very long time and we have a connection, but clearly I'm going in a different direction than what I initially said I was set out to do. So like we should make an even break right now.
Yeah, like,
that's the kind thing to do.
people change.
Yeah,
Right.
people change.
But
and she's still pushing forward, being like, we're going to change together. And Nicolas Cage is dragging his feet.
And he's kind of like so indecisive as to he has to let circumstance make his tough life decisions for him. Whoa.
And do you hear how he says the word darling to her? It really bothers me because he says it like, darling. Like, there's no love in that, darling.
Well, the acting in
There's
this movie
no
was...
love in that, darling. Darling. When he says sweetie to Yvonne later in the movie, when he's like, oh, sweetie, there's warmth. There's no warmth when he says darling. He knows.
My God.
He knows he should step away, but will not.
It's a dead marriage. It's a very passive man, and I mean his character is really just a flat nothing, like too good, too boring.
You could
All
tell
he
like
cares,
Cage didn't have any room to play with this one. It was just all, you know.
Also, I do want to point out, and we'll hopefully we'll see some clips later on. Rosie Perez's outfits during this movie are so good. Every single one.
She looks beautiful in every single one of them. She looks iconic. Also, like, because a big thing later, she gets plastic surgery. She must have been so uncomfortable in the first half of the movie because they like strapped her down to make it look like she had a small chest, but she still carries herself in such a way.
Yeah, that's another trivia thing. So later on in the movie, Rosie Perez's character has breast enhancement surgery, and those are her actual breasts. She's been wearing like a binder basically for the rest of the movie.
I didn't know that. Right. Now I'm looking back at these pictures of Rosie Perez in this movie, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, wow.
The acting she brings, even though like she's in restricted costuming, you don't even know.
They really do characterize her. They make her seem like the villain from the beginning. You know, you're rooting against her. They give her a lot of like, I'm superficial character moments, at least on the surface. Yeah. So we get to the scene where the waitress Yvonne and Charlie meet, and he doesn't have money for a tip, so he leaves her the lottery ticket. Now, we weren't able to find a thing of this scene online, so we found the next best thing. Chris, if you want to cue it up.
Okay.
This movie was remade in both Bollywood and Tollywood, so that's Indian cinema and I just closed it. Bengali cinema.
Bangladesh.
No, it's
well,
oh my God.
Bollywood and Tollywood.
Bollywood and Tollywood. So we have
a faithful
clip
remake, a shot like an almost shot for shot faithful remake of the film.
Yeah, the Bollywood one, which is called Bade Dilwala, and the Tollywood one, which is called Bahumati, are both on YouTube in their entirety. The Bollywood one in particular is like extremely faithful. So we have a few scenes from that we're gonna watch.
So here's the scene where he gives her the ticket.
ये लॉटरी टिकट है मेरे पास।
लॉटरी लॉटरी का मैं क्या करूंगी?
ये लॉटरी मैंने 20 रुपए में खरीदी है। इसका आधा यानी 10 रुपए आपके टिप का।
I argue better than the original, but
I mean, it's cute. It's cute.
And one change in the Bollywood version is that she has sort of like almost like a German outfit, like a little
Oh, like she's working at like I don't Oktoberfest-esque kind of
kind of a
location.
little Oktoberfest thing.
she also has a kid.
Yeah, she has a kid in the movie too,
Yeah, in the Bollywood version.
as we'll see in some later clips.
So yeah, so he offers her half of this ticket. Man, I am really starting to take your side here, Lauren.
Okay, also the ticket thing. Muriel told him the numbers to pick. So one could claim, oh, it's Nicolas Cage's ticket too. However, Muriel chose the first two numbers and last two numbers. Nicolas Cage messed up the middle two numbers. Regardless, one can't say it's more one or the other. That's an equal ticket. And he gave away half of an equal ticket
He should have talked
between
to her
him and his
first.
wife.
Oh God! All right, we're gonna go ahead and ban this guy. Wow! See that on the chat? Bye.
What? I didn't see it.
Oh, to the girl on the right, let me get a bag of your hair. Ban.
Oh no. Everyone
Sorry
should
about
keep
that.
hair on their head.
Big
That's a real weird one.
443J. Wow, that's a
We
good
need
one.
that hair.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Whoa. Anyway,
There's no even offer of an equal exchange. Like you would send me some.
and how big of a bag?
This is a movie about compromise, or it should be.
You know, you bring up an interesting point about the numbers because the number of numbers you get don't equate, like, it's not a linear cut, it's like an exponential cut, right? So who is the one who, you know what I mean? Like, if you only had two numbers, were it the first two numbers, so you only get $5,000, or is it the last two, so you get $1 million? You know what I mean? So it's a weird.
I mean, I think about it if Dan and I chose numbers together. And in this, like in the real setting, the waitress and the cop chose the numbers together. There was no wife or husband who extra chose numbers. It was really him and his wife, Charlie and Muriel, who chose the numbers, and Charlie just offered it off. If Dan did that, I would murder him.
And then get all
Like,
the money. Smart.
I would murder him and I would take that money.
This is recorded.
I would do it.
You know, what's it
You
called?
know, I told him when we watched the movie. I was like, that is unacceptable. If you meet someone and they need help, we will have a discussion. You don't make that decision on your own.
It's so weird. This movie has like a weird concept of property law because like people are married. It's everybody's. It's not like, you know, one person picked the number, so it's their ticket. It wouldn't even matter. I don't know. Dan, I am aware. Dan says in the chat that he's aware he'll be murdered.
This is our first murder threat on the podcast.
I'll
as
cut
our
it out.
first, request for one of our guests' hair. So
Yeah.
we're having a
But
lot
no
of.
equal exchange. He wasn't going to give me any hair. He just expected me to give my hair. Rude.
Yeah. Rude. How
What are you
rude.
gonna replace it with? You need more hair.
Need more hair.
Okay, so we move on. We have this completely. So they've won the lottery. Everybody's excited. We have this completely unnecessary robbery scene in the middle of this, right after.
It's not necessary because Nicolas Cage needs an excuse to spend more time with Yvonne.
but
Smart.
Even though he could spend this time with his wife while
Wait.
she is trying to build them a future.
wait, hold on, back up. But the robbery scene Yvonne isn't involved in. I'm talking about the one where he.
Oh no, he's out of
Yeah.
commission.
Coffee shop. He's out of commission because he's shot in the robbery scene, and thus he
Oh.
retires from the force. And he's like, oh, I have so many days and nothing to do them with. What do I do with these days? Should I ask my wife if we want to like have a nice romantic time together with all these millions? No! Let me contact the waitress and go rollerblading. Ha ha ha!
Oh man, Lauren, you're really onto something because not only is he like so hapless, he can't make up his mind about what he wants to do. He has plenty to do. He could be helping with all the goddamn renovations in the apartment. He's not doing
Mhm.
shit.
And she's not even just doing renovations for them. She told him, she's like, I met with this contractor. We're going to build these into apartments. It's going to build our wealth. We'll be landlords now. And so we won't have to work and worry about money.
He's like,
And
nah.
Nicolas Cage is like, I like where I live.
He's like, no, I want the world to happen to me and everything's gonna work out just fine.
Ugh.
Like, something tells me he doesn't even know how to pay bills. Like, she's just doing it.
No, I bet he doesn't. I bet he doesn't. And that's why he's so like, we can have kids. Cops have kids. And she's like, literally, we cannot at this point.
Oh, Dan
There's
just
more-
reminded me of something. Dan, at the beginning, he delivers a baby on the bus. Remember that
Oh.
shit?
Oh yeah.
He gave
It's
birth
what-
to a child. Assisted.
It's yeah. I mean, so you're right. Yeah. So those are the functions of that segment is like reinforcing how he's such a good cop. There's this really funny bit where he chucks a can of Hormel chili at the robber, and that's how he defeats them.
Yep.
So that scene to me felt unnecessary, but I hear the motivations for why you guys thought it was included. That makes sense.
Can we jump back? I know.
Can I
I'm
just
sorry,
say-
sorry, you go.
Oh, no, maybe we're going to jump back to the same thing. What were you going to jump back to?
Well, when we're first introduced to the waitress, we're also kind of shown how good of a person
no,
she
that's not what
is. Okay.
Right.
Do you
'cause,
want?
like we have the part where like because it's the it's the mid 90s and we have the guest who's like the guest at the diner it's implied that he has AIDS.
And like,
they,
very heavily too, because
Mhm.
Nick Cage is like, he's got it, huh? And it's like, what the hell? Like,
It's just
Jesus.
something very very
But
of
really,
the
when you think
time.
about it, he just gives him normal service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does normal waitress things for him.
She's a good person because she treats him like a human being, I guess.
She's just like, no. And I don't know. I wasn't a fully formed human at that time. Maybe people were not like that then. So maybe that is like an extra show of how good she is. But to today's standards, she was being a waitress.
See, that was back when there was a disease that wasn't contagious, but people treated you like they should stay away from you. But now when these diseases are contagious, they want to party with you all the time and hug and make out.
No.
It's a
I
different
will
time.
say a little bit of context, having recently listened to a podcast about Princess Diana. Do you guys know the famous story of Diana going to an orphanage or maybe it was a hospital, and there was a kid who's HIV positive, and she hugged him, and that was like, I mean, I think at the time kind of shocking for
Yeah.
people because they were like, oh, like, are you worried about you're going to get it or something? That was only 1991, so this
Wow.
is actually
Okay.
it makes sense.
I take back what I said about Yvonne then. She was being extra nice because people didn't know any better
Right.
then that you couldn't catch AIDS.
How
So she
did-
was showing how kind she was.
How do we get that stigma on COVID? How do we
I
get?
don't
We
know,
need that
educate
anyway.
population.
All right, so what were you going to come back to, Lauren?
Oh no, I had one more thing.
So I was going to jump back to the
I'm sorry. It's one more thing. His partner orders a double cheeseburger and a blueberry muffin while he waits.
Bo. Bo is a sweetheart. Bo is a sweetheart, except when he's not, and he just makes silly choices. I was going to jump back to the convenience store owners. They're not very nice about them, and I don't know if this was like a directing choice that they did not tell the convenience store or the people portraying the convenience store owners, like, hey, Nicolas Cage and the guy playing Bo are going to talk about you like you're awful people, so act like awful people. Instead, they just act like normal convenience store owners. And Bo and Nicolas Cage were like, oh, that bitch and that guy who owns the store, you could tell they're getting robbed because they're being nice to us for a change.
Yeah.
And it's like, they weren't portrayed as mean before that.
It's
But
like,
I
David-
think that was probably some second AD didn't tell the people portraying the convenience store owners like Nicolas Cage is going to badmouth you, so act mean.
Also, like,
I wrote
those robbers are friggin' masterminds to, in the instant before cops happen to walk in, say, everyone, this is what you're going to do. or you'll die. Like, how did they pull that off? It made no sense.
I mean, they yelled, "Act like you're shopping!" and they
Oh my god.
I don't.
I thought so. There was something.
I don't know how people in the 90s be robberies.
Did you think, Lauren, because you're a musical person, you sing a lot, you're a musical improviser, there were lots of moments in this movie. I thought this would make a great stage musical.
It would. I do agree with you. But you would have to, okay. You would have to make it so Nicolas Cage's character could be likable. You would need, in my heart, to make it so like Muriel was extra evil and they were already like going through divorce proceedings, I think. Because there is so much great emotion, but I can't root for Charlie and Yvonne right now.
And
I ideally want to root for.
I think you need to give a lot of the characters a lot more depth. Like Charlie in particular has no personality. He just sucks.
His partner could be played by the guy.
And I guess
plays...
if he had a Nice I Wish song.
Yeah.
Like, what if the guy who plays Aaron Burr plays Charlie's partner, and he has his own song?
Leslie Odom Jr.
Yeah.
Flo's song would just be like, "I like being a cup. I got a wife. I drink in the evening, and it's good. My kid has a little mermaid blanket. We have a nice life." Like,
that would be a waste of Leslie Odom Jr. for sure as the partner. Like.
Also, like he's his partner for how many years? And you know, sorry, nobody says. All right, so like he's his partner for how many years? And then he wins the lottery, and then like he's like, "Oh, by the way, here's some season tickets to Knicks. I don't know. See you later." Like, it's a nice gift, but like, you know, I'm sure he could use something like, you know, college tuition for his kid, or I don't know, something cool like that.
I will say that that's what he asked for. Like when they,
huh?
Is that what you're going to say, Lauren? Like when he was saying like, what would you do if you win the lottery? And he's like, I would get season tickets for the Knicks.
Oh, never mind.
I mean, now that's what we do. Back in the day, in the 90s, they just threw it at other things.
Man. Yeah.
All right.
So what happens next?
Yeah, so I just want to do a little clip, just a little check-in with what's going on in the Bollywood movie. So we have our robbery scene. There's a similar action scene in the Bollywood movie, although takes a little bit of a different toll. But I think the end result is that he gets injured in the same way.
Oh yeah, he has the same sling on the same arm.
Yeah. He's hanging off a bus with an umbrella.
Oh yeah, for the people at home, he took an umbrella and he boarded a bus using it as a kind of makeshift grappling hook. Not since Krish has you seen action this good.
I will say that I did think the action scene in this movie was actually like more fun. There's a whole bit afterwards where he's like hanging off the side of the bus and like kicking the guy from inside the butt. Like it's pretty fun.
All right, Dan says, is this the Bollywood Nick Cage?
Yeah, does he replace him multiple times? So here's a question for us, Chris, to research. Are there any other Nick Cage movies that have been turned into Bollywood movies? We'll have to loop back on that. Okay, so we got a little action scene. We have the boat scene where Rosie Perez goes off with this like rich guy who he eventually ends up marrying and scamming her.
So I will say she goes into it being like millionaires, they've invested money, and she starts taking notes. If Nicolas Cage was a good husband, not on a date with Yvonne, he would be by her side being like, these are good investment ideas. Wait a minute, that one seems like a scam. That's a good idea. Wait a minute, this guy's a scam artist. Come this way, Muriel. Instead, he just lets this poor woman, his wife, who he's loved for 20 years, be taken in with excitement to invest funds for them to build a better life together, and she gets hoodwinked. And that's Nicolas Cage's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he.
Meanwhile, romantic date with cheek to cheek dancing. Nicolas Cage and Yvonne. Clearly a date.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Married
when you
married
start laying it
woman.
out, it's really sad when you lay it out because like Yvonne could have literally been anyone.
Yeah.
He picked the first person he saw. He's just, I want out. The relationship was over. He just wanted out. He literally picked the first pretty lady he saw.
Yeah.
I do think we skipped over, actually, there's a whole montage of Muriel shopping. Do we have anything from the actual movie, Chris?
All we have is the clip of the guest star.
Yeah. We have a I'm curious, Lauren, if you recognize this actress.
Let's see.
Her.
No. Who is she?
Well,
Who are you?
we'll go back for another second look. I'll try to pause it. That actress.
This
Who
is
is
her
she?
first role ever.
Who are you?
It's Emily Deschanel, aka Bones.
What a part!
What?
What a part!
With the paint.
Ah,
She's the one tossing paint on Rosie Perez.
how fun! How fun for her. She must have gotten to throw paint on like a prop standing thing like at least 5 times.
Yeah.
So she is the daughter of the cinematographer of this movie.
Ah, that
Sheila
makes sense.
Deschanel.
Ah, those Deschanels, that's how they got
The
in.
Deschanel dynasty. We've been watching a lot of New Girl recently, so I looked this up.
Just I don't like liking New Girl, but I do love liking New Girl because then if you go onto wornontv.com, all of Zooey Deschanel's outfits are posted there and they're all terrific.
Yeah.
It's
Sorry.
it's been a journey. We've done the whole thing. We're like midway through season 7, whatever the second to last season is right now.
Yeah, I didn't think I
mean,
was gonna like it.
I've watched it all.
So this is the theme, the scene of, so this is the scene of the ostensible villain getting something thrown on them, right?
Mhm.
So would it surprise you if I told you this was recreated
Oh.
in
Oh wait, never mind. I don't have the one from the Tollywood. I have the Bollywood one.
Oh, you didn't get the Tollywood one?
The
That's
Tollywood
okay,
one
'cause
is
real gross.
She falls into a sewer. That is
She
how
falls into an actual sewer and emerges covered in like slime and mud.
Ugh.
Yeah, the Bollywood one is more tame. It's similar.
छी हराम के पिल्ले you dirty kids चलो हटो ऐसे हटो मेरी 25,000 की ड्रेस खराब कर दी देखो ना राम ये गरीब
This kid's throwing powdered paint at her.
So yeah, it's the festival Holi, which is the colored powder. So it just there's actually a scene after, like right after that, she gets like a way bigger blast.
Oh
of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So she's not happy.
Who would be?
So then talk to me, Lauren. How do you? All right. So I know you're a Muriel apologist for this. So what about when she steals the money from, like, so Nick Cage has given $1 to a homeless man and she walks right up and she takes it back?
Okay, that's wrong. However, she's been pushed to an edge. Right? This isn't just like the first bad thing that Nicolas Cage has done, or bad thing. This isn't the first time he's given away money. He's already given away half. Is this the point where he's given it away to the subway people?
It's before that, I think.
Okay.
Before that. He's already exhibited traits where he's just giving money away. And she's like, Nicolas Cage, I need you to stop giving away money without consulting me. And Nicolas Cage is like, blah, 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 and then just gives it away. And she's like, you literally just did what I told you not to do.
It's like it's like fighting between parents and like making the other parent always be the bad guy to the kids.
Yeah. I mean, granted, okay, Muriel might not give money away to homeless people. Yes, that is a character flaw. But Nicolas Cage keeps giving it away and not listening to her. She's pushed.
If they had kids, it'd be like, oh yeah, of course we can go to Disneyland tomorrow. And like, she'd have to be like, no, we can't. We're trying to, you know.
I already told you. I told you 4 times, Nicolas Cage.
And then Nick Cage would be like, sorry, kids, your mom says no. And it's like, what the hell?
I wanted
I would
to
make
go.
her into the bad guy. Yeah.
Oh.
All
And
right.
I will say these purchases Muriel is making, she made the improvements to the apartment to expand their wealth, to create apartments for them to be landlords of. And then she's taking Nicolas Cage with her to every store she's going in. Therefore, she's saying, Nicolas Cage, I want this. And Nicolas Cage is probably like, yeah, whatever. And she's like, Nicolas Cage, I want this. And he again is probably like, yeah, whatever. She's showing him the purchases she's making and how she's spending money.
Mm-hmm.
Nicolas Cage does not give her that respect.
I think they were trying to portray her as somebody who was very materialistic and self-centered, but they didn't.
Well, they didn't do a good job
They
because
didn't
I'm
push-
just seeing a lady with her husband celebrating millions.
I think they didn't push the self-centered enough.
If she had gone on shopping sprees by herself, if she had like thrown money at stupid things just for her, I think it would make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But instead, she's literally taking him with her to store she's going to, and she's investing in their future.
And I mean, if you win $1 million, like you're probably gonna buy some nice clothes. I think
You're
that's
probably
very-
going to want to go to Tiffany's. I'm sorry. Like, you're probably going to want to.
Okay, so we have the montage, jumping forward a little bit, of them just like doing all the nice stuff. We've got
Romantic times for them. Rollerblading.
He falls
Giving
in the pond.
coins in the subway.
yeah.
Taking the whole neighborhood to a baseball field. Not inviting Muriel. Just the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, what was Muriel even doing? Like, he must have had to come up with an excuse. Like, he must have been like, hey, I'm going out. Where you going? Don't worry about it. Just fucking leaves, you know?
Because she does eventually confront him and be like, are you in love with him? Or are you in love with her? I guess it's a better way to say it. She's like, Nicolas Cage, are you in love with this waitress?
Yeah, because we see that there's like the newspaper is following them around and like publishing their story on the same day. So literally she comes home and there's like already a newspaper story about
She's like,
what they
what's
did.
up, Nicolas Cage? You're giving away more of our money and you're having an emotional affair.
And the twist ending is there literally was a reporter following them around.
Yeah, that's true. That is the twist ending of the movie.
Angel is one of my favorites because first of all, he's so cool. He's just comes out of nowhere. Like there'll be a clip going on, and all of a sudden he'll be like, "This is what's happening now. Now I'm over here." Like,
I mean, it's literally Isaac Hayes. Like you don't get much cooler than that. I think
And-
they should have used him more. I think that he came through so rarely that it was like a little like, what is this guy's deal? I think he should have been a more consistent narrator through this movie.
I wish they really made you think he was an angel from God,
Mm.
and then you just find out he's a reporter. Like, because you get that a little bit at the start. You're like, is he an angel? Nicolas Cage is ignoring him as he walks by. Is he really there? Maybe he's a spirit. You're like, oh, I guess he's not. I wish they made him super ethereal.
Well,
And then it was a real big twist that he was Breeze.
what this movie? Oh no, you're back. I think.
Yeah, we're back. You're back.
Okay.
You're not back
Yeah.
yet. Oh no, no.
What this
Okay,
movie
I'm back.
fails to do, and we heard most of what you said. What this movie, I think, like is putting out there is that there is a man who works for a newspaper who occasionally likes to stare in a neutral direction and tell people what's going on around him
Yeah.
and follow people and do that. That's because he's not an angel. We know that now. He's a news reporter. He's not the narrator. He's just a news reporter.
And interesting parallel to the movie The Family Man, which we watched a month or two ago, where we have another character, well, it's played by Don Cheadle, who's just sort of like always, he's also black. He's always there. He disguises himself as like someone he's not, and has some in The Family Man, he's very clearly is an angel or has some sort of magical thing going on. But sort of like this, like, African American character who's just there to help this white guy fuel his plot, further his plot.
You want to hear a theory about Family Man? Me and Dan's theory.
Okay.
Oh, you guys, have you actually seen that movie?
Let's hear it.
Yes, I've seen that movie.
I really want to hear this.
It's a good. Okay. Our theory for that movie is that angel was originally going to offer the wish to the grocery, or not grocery. It was a bodega clerk.
Yeah.
That he was originally going to offer that like money to the clerk, and then Nicolas Cage came in, and he's like, "Well, I guess it's gonna be this guy instead."
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. Because he's like, "You missed out,
Yeah.
man," and then he
But
gets
also-
to thinking.
Yeah. That movie is sad though, because those children never existed now.
Yeah, that if you think too much about the kids in that movie, that's dark.
Yeah. Not just their kids either.
Never
Like
existed, never will.
Butterfly Effect took out a whole school full of kids.
I know.
Ugh.
Anyways,
All right.
we
Yeah.
have our angel.
Yeah,
and
so we have our movie. So I do want to point out. So we have the kids. You know, they go to the baseball stadium. A bunch of kids running through a baseball stadium having fun. That sounds like a musical number to me.
It does.
Fortunately, it is.
The Bollywood version has it. It's exactly what it sounds like, guys. For the people at
It's
home.
just like
I love
like-
it. I love
like
it.
50
so
kids
much.
dancing in a stadium. It's really cute.
Oh man. Yeah,
It's everything you want.
that movie. I want to actually watch it. I wish there was an English subtitle. I can't find it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't
is
do
it?
it.
No, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I didn't do a super deep dive. I'm sure there's a way to get it, but
This movie, all right. So the big theme in this movie is that, or what they tried to say is that fate was kind of the hand of fate was involved, and like the whole scene with them at the hotel, which I think we're about to get into, right?
That wasn't fate. That wasn't fate.
Yeah.
Okay, first
Fate
of all,
didn't give them
Stanley
adjoining rooms.
Stanley Tucci comes in, best shape of his life, and Stanley Tucci's like, "We're married, and I'm gorgeous." And
we were gonna show the Stanley Tucci clip, but I'm sorry, you're not allowed to show men's nipples on Twitch, so we're not gonna.
There's a part where Stanley Tucci stands up and his towel is open, and
Chris really wants to.
I enhanced it, but unfortunately, he was wearing underwear under there. Anyway,
And unfortunately, we can't show it because we can't show nipples.
How unfortunate. The viewers need to know, and listeners need to know, Stanley Tucci is in the best shape of his life without dehydrating himself. Because I asked Dan, I said, "Dan, is Stanley Tucci in the best shape of his life?" And Dan is a physical therapist, analyzed him. And he's like, "Oh yeah, he is." And I was like, "But is he dehydrating himself like most people do in movies?" And Dan was like, "No, not at all. He just looks like a very good man."
I will say, I think
a lot of like poses.
he looks great. I think the hair has improved in later years. I think that once he shaved his head versus sort of the male pattern baldness thing, I think that's a better look for him. He looks great though.
He does all these fun flexes, and he's like, "Look at how good I look." And Yvonne is like, "I'm in love with Nicolas Cage."
yeah. Also, he was a bad guy, right? But like, he could have been so much worse. Like,
Could have been worse.
he could have been
Instead,
a real
he
bad guy.
comes in, tries to woo his wife, and his wife is like, "I will not be wooed."
And
He
he's like,
doesn't take anything.
I just need some money.
He takes some macadamia nuts.
He takes the macadamia nuts, which honestly, Yvonne, come on now. You think that's the height of luxury?
The thing with the thing too is like, he asked for the money. He could have been a real asshole and been like, "Well, we're married, so your property is my property anyway," and got a lawyer involved. But he just immediately backs off. He's like, "All right, never mind."
And it's not even he's asking for money because he's like, "Hey, I'm broke." He's like, "Hey, this is the thing I want to set up. Will you invest?" And Yvonne is like, "No, Nicolas Cage is the one I love."
The Stanley Tucci Players, or whatever his name was,
Oh, it's
Yeah,
like
it
a
was
theater,
like the
right?
theater thing. He wanted her to invest in the arts, and she refused.
guys, he is all of us. He is all these improvisers trying to start a theater. He was just trying to start an improv theater.
Really, he was. He wanted to invest in the youth and arts. And Yvonne said, "Nay.
He saw those
I'd rather
kids.
go along with Nicolas Cage and his crazy spending spree."
Oh man, wow.
All right. So she
So-
leaves the house because she doesn't want to be around the Tooch anymore.
The Tooch
And
Gooch.
meanwhile, Rosie Perez dumps Nicolas Cage. They both go to the same hotel, the Plaza.
That 20+ year relationship or whatever ended so
So,
abruptly.
okay.
Go ahead, Lauren. Sorry.
Well, because she was like, you are cheating on me. And he's like, maybe. And she's like, you are cheating on me. Leave the home. And he's like, all right.
He's like, wait, you want a divorce? That's crazy. All right, I'll leave. Like he can't make a decision for himself. Ugh. Man.
And then they go to the Plaza, which, all right, it's the Plaza. Eloise in the Plaza. That's nice. As someone who visits New York when it's not a pandemic, I will say their view from the Plaza wasn't very good. If you want a good view of the park, you go to the Park Lane. Cheaper, better view of the park. It's more centric. When I saw their view, I was like, I've had better views.
And I'm not even a millionaire.
And I'm not even a millionaire. We simply found a Black Friday deal.
You can live like a millionaire at the Park Lane Hotel.
Mhm.
Brought to you by
I love the Park Lane.
Yeah, that whole thing where he leaves and he's got his suitcases and he shows up and they're like, "What? Wait, you're here too?" It felt like to me, oh, this must be from the real story, and they're just using the recount that these people had to make themselves innocent. You know, it kind of sounds like a bullshit story you would tell, like, she just happened to be at the hotel too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But actually it has nothing to do with the real
Yeah.
story, and so whatever. I hope that thought made sense.
And clearly like the hotel concierge was like, oh, I see what's going on. They're cheating on their significant others. I'll give them adjoining rooms and be a cool concierge. Not concierge, desk clerk. Checker inner, hotel manager. Give them a room.
Dan is upset you shared your hotel secrets.
Okay, everyone should know what Park Lane is. It's really good. It's 2 hotels away from the Plaza. It's the best hotel there is. They have every single day at 5 p.m. They have a wine hour, or maybe it's 2 hours, where they give you wine and snacks, and the snacks are great.
Wine hour.
Sounds really nice
That
now.
sounds wonderful. I want to go to a fancy hotel.
It's really nice. And all you have to do is ask for a view of the park. Yes, it will be a little more expensive, but less expensive than the Plaza.
Ugh.
So
Remember those
they've got
days.
their adjoining rooms, right? Which they say, you know, whatever. I think this is set up to be like, oh, they couldn't help but cheat on each other because everything was, or they couldn't help but cheat on their significant others because they were just put in the situation and they were overcome by emotion.
Yeah, it's too. It's
Although
too
they have
much.
both kind of been dumped at this point.
Well, I mean, he is just like fresh.
Well,
Right.
Yeah. Yvonne clearly has been separated for some time. Nicolas Cage has been thrown out of his home for an emotional affair, which he won't like even own up to.
Yeah.
So instead he goes for a real-time affair.
They have sex almost immediately after seeing each other. Like it is just like boom. I mean, I'm assuming otherwise all they did was just changing the robes and that was it.
Almost.
Lauren's frozen in a pretty funny
Yeah.
shocked face right now.
Clearly something they wanted to do for a very long time because they kept having those romantic bits where they were just too close to each other. And then when they finally had the adjoining rooms, he was like, haha, do you want fruit? Oh, but you have fruit. Do you want to look at this? Is it you want to come near my face?
Oh, my pants are down. Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, oh man, like Lauren, you're so right. Like, it's so annoying that people that like, they're not taking any responsibility for their actions at all at any point. Or Nick Cage is especially not taking any responsibility for any of his actions. The whole movie.
Yeah.
But Yvonne too, because we never saw a conversation between Nicolas Cage and Yvonne being like, hey, I'm Nicolas Cage. My wife just threw me out of my house, so we're getting a divorce. As far as Yvonne knows,
It's true.
the sexy romantic hangout times are just like getting more intense.
Man. Yikes. Ugh.
See, I'm pulling you over to my side.
Well, also something the partner says early in the film. He's like, I know you, and you will do the appropriate thing. He doesn't say the right thing. He just says the appropriate thing, as if to say, you're going to do what you're going to do, and I can't stop you.
Mhm.
Wow.
Bo knows. Bo knows.
Oh no.
So, all right, we've got to
But
hook
also
up.
early on points out like you just want to talk to the waitress.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has a crush. The partner's encouraging it for sure. I mean, you can see it in the filming in the very first scene where they meet. Nicolas Cage is just like staring right at her, just like obsessed with her immediately.
Ugh.
Mhm,
All right.
mhm, mhm.
So
So,
they
moving
bang
forward.
out.
They
Then
bang out. It's
giant.
extremely PG. This is a PG movie, a rare Cage PG.
And then all this results in big litigation.
Yeah. We get
Yeah.
the
Because now
lawsuit, period.
Rosie Perez is coming for everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
She wants it all.
Muriel deserves it all. She deserves it all. And yes, she lies a bit on the stand. She says that her dead father told her the days to pick, which wasn't true. We all know that. But I'm going to let that slide. I'm going to let lying on the stand slide because she deserves this money.
So I think this is the part where they choose to use that idea in the case was kind of weird. All they really had to say was, well, they're still married. He was unfaithful. So I don't know. Doesn't that usually hold up in divorce court? Like if someone's unfaithful, then they get more stuff.
It depends on the state if they're a no-fault divorce state.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I don't know what New York is.
I don't either. Man.
I don't know what it was in the 90s either.
Right. Either way, there's a long, drawn-out trial. We have some behind-the-scenes lawyer scenes. We have Richard Jenkins, who I know from 6 Feet Under and love him, is the meanest lawyer ever.
Oh, no. He's just a good advocate for his clients.
You know what sucked about this?
The fake abuse claims, though. I mean, that's a little bit.
It's like, have you ever hit
No,
your wife?
Nicolas Cage did grab her arm. There were lawyers in the room. Nicolas Cage grabbed her arm hard.
That was so weird. Like, why did he do that? That was so weird. It's just like, he grabs
everyone.
Oh, it was so fucking weird.
Threatening like.
You know what? They missed a huge opportunity for the judge to grab a stamp and just stamp divorced on a piece of paper at the end of this trial.
They should have.
Oh, he's the dad. He's the dad from Step Brothers. Dan says
Richard Jenkins is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we go through this whole lawsuit. Do we have any clips from this, Chris? I thought we might have some.
Let me check it out.
Clips from the actual movie.
No, I think the next one I have is more towards the end. The diner clip.
Yeah. So they lose the lawsuit. They're real sad. Rosie Perez gets all the money. They mope around for a while. And then finally Nicolas Cage goes to visit her in the diner. And this we do have a clip, and I got this clip because the acting is really bad and I did not care for it. And also it was one of the very few clips that was available.
Huh? I love you.
Oh, don't you get it? I've ruined your life.
Are you crazy? These past couple of days, I felt like half of me was missing.
You won $4 million in the lottery. I mean, do you know what an amazing gift that is? And because of me, you have nothing.
Because of you, I have you. Why can't you understand that? If you don't want me, that's different.
He likes to grab women.
If you don't want me, I'll walk right out that door and you'll never see me again. But please stop talking about the money. It means nothing to me.
I don't buy that for a second. It means nothing to me.
Now, Lauren, you may be looking at that and saying, that's a dramatic clip, but wouldn't it be better if it took place during a rainstorm?
It would be. I wish it did. Ugh. my dream.
मान जाओ ना मम्मी प्लीज प्लीज हाँ बोल दो ना मम्मी प्लीज हाँ बोल दो ना मम्मी प्लीज हाँ बोल दो ना मम्मी प्लीज
That guy is ripped. Or he's a big dude.
Also,
Wow.
they have a kid in this movie.
Yeah.
Or I think the Charlie and Muriel already have a kid.
Yeah. Wow. Oh boy.
But then things turn around because it turns out that Isaac Hayes has been spying on them. He publishes their story. Everybody sees how good people they are. And then all of New York spontaneously decides to send them $5 each.
Yep.
They get the It's a
Enough
Wonderful
to
Life
buy
treatment.
John's restaurant, and enough for them to be comfortable enough so Nicolas Cage can be a cop and she can be a waitress forever.
Yeah, like it's the exact amount of money you're like, they're gonna be okay.
Yep. They can pay off their debts.
Yeah.
I wrote down a quote from that scene before, sorry, the reconciliation. He said, "We should leave New York. We're like freaks here." Like,
And then he's
no one
like,
cares about you.
well, my my cousin, he lives in Buffalo.
Yeah.
He told me I should visit sometime. Let's go live with there. I'm like, wait, visit doesn't mean he's inviting you to go live with him. You know,
and I feel like the
No,
word,
and definitely not bring this new person along.
yeah.
I feel like the "we're like freaks" here is maybe, I don't know, maybe I misunderstood it, but I took it as like, oh, because we're so nice.
Oh no, it's because the media in like
We're so
what was that?
What did you say, Lauren?
there's a delay on my end, so I think there's a delay on my end, so everything I'm saying is coming like 20 seconds later.
No, it's been hit and miss.
We're good.
Yeah, we're good now.
I'll tighten it up in the
Okay.
yeah.
We'll fix it in post.
We'll fix it in post.
Oh, nice.
Okay, so
But really,
yeah, so we get all this money. I was like, are they gonna send thank you notes? And they decide they're gonna just do like this balloon ride.
yeah, and pollute the environment.
What are they dumping out of the balloon? You don't have the clip.
I think they're
Yeah.
dumping hearts.
They're,
You think
They're
they're
dumping little hearts.
they're dumping hearts. Yeah. This is like
Trash.
Charlie, Muriel, and Yvonne all lived in a city where people prayed for miracles every day. And
Not even a
sometimes
thank you on them.
they happened.
Just trash.
so
It's making a big mess.
not only are they dumping trash, I don't know how safe it is to get a hot air balloon in the air in the middle of New York City.
Especially untethered.
In the middle of the park.
Does that
Yeah.
don't
What are they thinking?
They just ride on the wind, right? They don't have steering wheels in a hot air balloon, right?
I don't know how they work.
Does anyone in the chat know how a hot air balloon works?
Dan suggests that the New York Post maybe paid for it. I mean,
Oh.
Because it does say cop weds waitress.
Yeah.
New York Post-esque print.
That's a shitty headline because, okay, a cop weds a waitress. Which cop? Which waitress? What were you talking about?
What else?
You could say lottery cop weds lottery, or you know.
Now here's the question, guys. Did the Bollywood movie have a balloon?
Did they?
And more importantly, did I ask Chris to get a clip of this? I don't recall. I think I did.
Oh, I have it, and I am about to play it right now.
इसी तरह से पिया ने अपना नीलाम होता हुआ होटल बचा लिया और राम ने फकर के साथ अपनी पुलिस की नौकरी और बेटी अंतरा ने
मैं अंतरा अपने डैडी राम प्रसाद की शादी पिया से तय करती हूँ आप लोग जरूर आइएगा
Okay, but I want to note the scenery for this, right? You can barely see it, but I think All right, this is not a part of you might have a clip. Do you have a clip of the musical number where they're doing the love song
Yes,
earlier?
I do. That's like a really beautiful, majestic background. Yeah.
Check that, because I want to. There's a through line through the Bollywood movie where every time they have a love song, it's imagined in the Swiss Alps for some reason.
Okay.
And so I think that the Bollywood movie ends up actually going to the Swiss Alps.
It's like Sound of Music.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
This is great move here.
Oh,
shit,
sorry. Hold on.
No, it's okay. It's not.
I do have it.
The back bend. And then there's like a jacket pop thing. I think that's it.
Great.
Wow.
I mean, already much more likable than Nick Cage.
Yeah.
I would say. Certainly a better singer, probably a better dancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that in the Bollywood movie, they have all these fantasy love songs in this location, and at the end of the movie, they bring their daughter, who I guess is probably, the daughter from the marriage with Muriel, and actually go up in a balloon. So that's kind of nice.
Lauren, I have a question for you.
That is nice. What is your question?
If Yvonne had a child,
what
would a Nick Cage done in this film?
He would have done that awful Nick Cage thing where he's like, well, you're my child now, no question about it.
Could you be referencing any
Just like he
specific
does in The Wicker Man, where he's like, sweetie, listen to me. I'm your father. Don't set me on fire.
Sweetie.
This is actually a Nicolas Cage theme, is you're my child now, no questions asked. I don't know if you've seen the movie Matchstick Men, but that is pretty much the premise of Matchstick Men. Is a woman shows up and says she's his child, and he's like, cool, all right.
And Face Off.
This is my child.
Face Off ends with John Travolta's character claiming a child
And he
as his own.
John Travolta as Castor Troy also claims John Travolta's daughter as it kind of, in a way, I don't know.
Anyway. Guys, we've made it through the plot of this movie.
Oh my God.
Oh wait.
Oh, well, yes. Final thoughts.
Muriel at the very end gets scammed.
Yes, good point.
Final thoughts are Muriel at the end gets scammed because the bad guy who she married, who she thought she was going to build a future with, as she thought she was going to with Nicolas Cage, another man lets her down and this time takes all her money instead of giving away half of it. Now she has to live in Queens with her mom.
And I guess the message of the movie is, greed, narcissism, things like that are bad, and you should just be able to be happy with what you have. But at the end of the movie, he still has hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's true.
And the movie is based on two people who are the lottery spokespeople.
So yeah.
All right. We'll get to wrap up our thoughts on the movie in general once we rank it, but let's pivot over, Chris. Check in with our bingo board, see if we got any hits today.
Bingo time.
I'm guessing
we do have a couple, one hit.
Oh yeah, all right, let's take a look. So we are looking for
We got is divorced.
Well, no, because he does divorce.
Yeah, I think that counts, right?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so or is that intended to be he starts off divorced? I would say at the end of the movie, he is a divorced person. So I think I'm good with that. Let's hit it.
Okay.
Oh man, now we just need cockroaches to finish this angle.
Yeah.
We don't have a cage sex scene because we just cut to the bathrobe thing. Nobody's pregnant. I thought about non-native English speaking love interest, but Rosie Perez was born in New York City, so I feel like she grew up speaking English for sure.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
I think that's what we got.
Was there a car chase in this movie?
No.
There
It was a kind of
No.
a like what's it called? Like a robbery chase, but no cars were involved.
In the opening sequence, someone was driving a car during another robbery, but Nicolas Cage apprehended them on foot.
Yeah.
Good
All
memory.
right. We're making some progress.
Oh,
We haven't quite.
wait.
Yeah.
A heist? No.
I think that a robbery and a heist are different. I think a
Okay.
heist is like Nicolas Cage participates to steal something like the Declaration of Independence, or I don't know, I'm just throwing out random things, you know? Like, I don't think this was a heist. You don't heist a convenience store.
Yeah, Dan was asking if he smokes.
No, a
in this one.
heist is
All right.
Sorry about
So
that.
Beep.
I hit some
let's
buttons.
go. Let's pivot over to trivia, Chris.
All
and
right,
then
it's
random bingo.
trivia time.
So here's a little trivia that I found about this movie. The movie was originally called, I see two different titles. One is called Cop Gives Waitress $2 Million Tip, or The $2 Million Tip. I do prefer the actual title. I don't know about you guys.
Too wordy the other way.
Some people that were originally slated to star in this or were auditioned, this could have been a Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Except Arnold Schwarzenegger decided to do
With
action.
Madonna.
Yep, with Madonna or Marissa Tomei.
Whoa.
Both turned down the role of Yvonne. I think that might have been fun. I don't know.
Madonna.
Let's see. And the only other one that I got was that the diner was a actual full diner prop. So the exterior and the interior were all built. It was all built on a parking lot in New York, in Tribeca.
Wait, that
So
whole
they-
street corner was made in a parking lot. Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And that's all I got. So let's rank this movie.
All right.
The Cage.
All right, Lauren, you've seen this before. We'll talk you through it anyway. We were ranking out of 10 a few things. The first one is the cast of the movie in terms of like the different people that you were excited to see in this movie. Just to recap some of the people in this movie that we know, we've got, aside from Nicolas Cage, we've got Bridget Fonda, we've got Rosie Perez, we've got Isaac Hayes, we have Richard Jenkins. Who am I forgetting, guys? Any other fun ones?
Oh,
Stanley Tucci. Sorry.
Emily Deschanel.
Yes.
Also, the guy who swindles her is someone I've seen in other things, but I don't know his name.
He must be famous, right?
Yeah,
His
He
name
had a
is
lot of prominent
Seymour Castle.
he's been in some other things.
Oh.
I kind of want to say he's been in like some of those what's it called type those spoofy type movies you said that the writer had worked on. But
He was in Honeymoon in Vegas.
There
He
it
was
is.
also in a bunch of Wes Anderson movies.
Okay.
Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, Life Aquatic.
So there's another one for you.
Yeah, I don't recognize him, but he's been in a lot of stuff. What's it called? And I knew Brendan would pipe in the chat that he was in Rushmore and a lot of John Cassavetes movies. All right. We've got our character actor identifier in the chat. Thank you. Okay, so what do you think about the cast, Lauren? If out of 10, how
Okay.
excited were you by this
So,
cast?
I think Rosie Perez is hilarious. I think her and the Tooch is a lot of my points. And then also the dad from Step Brothers playing an excellent lawyer, like really going hard for his client. I think Bo is great. I think Angel is great. And Nicolas Cage and Bridget Fonda. I will give it 7
Great.
points.
Wait. Well, I just love the idea of a spin-off movie called Rosie and the Tooch. Needs to
Yeah.
happen.
They would have a fun time together, I think. I don't think they would end up romantically together. I think they would have like some fun little adventures.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Post-credit scene. They're sitting. Rosie Perez is drinking in a bar. She's been swindled. Down on the other side of the bar, Stanley Tucci. They're like, "You got swindled too, huh?"
I feel like
macadamia nut.
Blackout.
I feel like that was like absolutely in a draft of the script. Like, there's no way someone didn't suggest that. It's a perfect ending.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then we got the "It Could Happen to You," where there's these post-credit scenes set up the next one.
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna also give it. I think I'm gonna give it an 8. This is a solid cast. A lot of good people in this movie.
Yeah, I'm also gonna give it an 8. I was very pleased to see a lot of the people in this movie, and also I know Lauren, you're not a big fan of Bridget Fonda, but I had obviously hadn't seen her in a while. She stopped acting, I think, in the early 2000s, but I did like her in this movie. I thought she was charming, and it was nice to see her in movies.
I have a problem with her mouth acting. I think her mouth acting is very irritating.
Big smile.
It's always just like, this is my thing. But her mouth is like smaller than mine, so it's just like it's a lot of tension right here.
She was also way over the top too. Like it was more like theatrical, stagey kind of performance. It wasn't like realistic at all.
Well, I was happy to see her, even if maybe her acting wasn't the best. All right. So speaking of acting, Lauren, non-Nicolas Cage, we grade him separately.
Okay, great.
So
because again,
everyone else.
All my points go to, I think, Rosie Perez and Stanley Tucci, ideal performances. 10.
10? Hey, you could give it a 10.
I'm giving a 10. Do you know how much thought the Tooch thought about for his poses? I bet so much. Rosie Perez had to act restricted half of the movie, but could not show it, and gave us such flair and such wonder as she won millions and then had it rudely taken away.
Oh man, alternate ending where they start a theater together, Rosie and the Tooch. She gets an investment.
That's actually really nice.
Yeah, it would be nice.
And then he's like, yeah, I dated somebody. She just, she would just was weird about macadamia nuts. Like, oh yeah, well, anyway, sorry, we don't need to write that movie. Oh yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7. Because I wasn't like feeling things this whole movie. I was like, all right, this is fun. But yeah, Rosie Perez was great. A lot of all the side actors are really great.
Yeah, I really think the two leads, really, I was just like, I'm not here for you anymore.
Yeah.
But I loved all the character actors. I loved all the side characters so much. Even the coffee shop owner with his, that's a good cup of coffee.
He was.
Comment from the chat. Rosie Perez is an Oscar nominee. She was nominated for Best Supporting Actress for a movie called Fearless, which I actually don't know much about.
Did White Men Can't Jump win any Oscars or get nominated for an Oscar or anything like that, Brendan? I forget.
That the fastest way to get the answer is to just say it and then wait for the chat.
I don't want to make typey noises on the microphone.
Typey noises. Okay. All right. Acting. I'm actually going to go a little lower. I know. He says not that I'm aware of. I'm going to go a little lower. I feel like the acting was like a little cartoony, and maybe that's what the movie called for. I'm going to give it a 5. I'm not
5.
I'm not mad at the acting.
Wow.
What
do you have against the Tooch's poses?
Oh, I think he was great. I think he felt very effortless, but he wasn't the only.
That's fair.
All right. How fun was this movie? Out of 10, this is a little bit subjective. So how much fun did you have watching this movie?
I got very bored and very angry, as you can tell, during any romantic scene. But then I loved all the other little scenes. And then I also loved hating Nicolas Cage in it. So I will say a solid 8.
All right. That's a good score. I'm going to say a 7. Just, it was all right. It wasn't unfun.
I'm going to give it an 8 as well. It was lighthearted. It was, cartoony. We've had a lot of dark ones recently, so I'm a little biased. I enjoyed watching it. I was like, I know what to expect. This is a romantic comedy. It's not going to get me down.
This could be the biggest spread in points we've ever had on one category, the acting. 5 on one side, 10 on the other. I don't think that's ever happened yet. That's pretty cool. All
right, technical. So this is sets, costumes, soundtrack, wigs, etc.
Okay. This is okay. I'm not a technical person. So this is challenging for me because I'm trying to think like what to think of things.
I mean, if you felt like if something took you out of it, you could deduct points. Like if you were like, man, that diner is definitely built on a parking lot, which I will say I didn't think. I thought it was a real diner.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. Like,
I
or
love-
man, Nick Cage's character's dye job is a little bit weird.
Did he? Okay, is that his real hair?
No, he's much darker hair.
Yeah, it's a
Why
weird
did
wig.
he dye the top of his head?
I don't think they dyed the top of his head. I think that was partially a wig.
Oh yeah, it very well might have been.
It's a wig? Does
think-
he have hair?
I think it's much thinner than that in real life.
Although this was 94, so he probably, was I mean, I will say this reminds me a little bit of another blonde Nicolas Cage movie we saw, which is Gone in 60 Seconds, where he's even blonder. And also plays a really bland character. So maybe that's a thing to look for, is that when he gets blonde, he gets boring. So
bland.
Yeah. So if you want, we can bounce back to you if Chris or you or me, we have technical ideas. I'm gonna give it a 6. I'll just jump in here. Nothing was particularly objectionable to me. Any thoughts, guys?
I'm gonna say, all right. There's a few things that are jumping out. You told me that thing was built in a parking lot. That's pretty cool. The rest of it, there wasn't anything that was like, okay. The costumes are all pretty straightforward. And you know what?
Oh,
no.
wait.
Ooh,
Hold
yeah.
on.
The Rosie Perez's outfits.
I'm bumping mine up to a 7 for Rosie Perez's outfits.
Yeah.
The costuming for her is so good.
I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna go with a 7 on that one.
I think that's fair. Also, I'm thinking of just like certain scenes that I really liked. Like in the apartment felt very much like an apartment they would have together. And I think the set decorating was really nice. And like the bathroom scene, like it looked like a bathroom that they would have, not just like a bathroom. And Rosie Perez's costume's really nice. So yeah, I think a 7 is good.
Okay.
Also, the portrait they had of Rosie Perez.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Overall, how much did you like this movie out of 10? It's a tricky one.
It is tricky. And if I were much younger, when I first saw this movie, I think I would give it a higher score because I thought like overall it's hilarious and funny and a loving romantic comedy. But now I'm so angry at Nicolas Cage and he doesn't get his comeuppance, which I would like him to get, but he does not. So I'm going to give it a 6.
What you want is the other movie that is like the hidden movie within this movie.
Or I at least want someone to say like, Nicolas Cage, you know you cheated on her, right? You know you did that. You know you did wrong. And for Nicolas Cage to be like, yes.
You want like a moment after the divorce trial where his partner comes to him and is like, hey man, you reap what you sow.
Cool.
Like you did this to yourself, you know?
Yeah. I want that instead of Nicolas Cage running off and thinking he made such a romantic, wonderful choice. I want someone to be like, no, Nicolas Cage, no, you were not the good guy.
And like the city bailed him out in the end.
Yeah.
It enabled him. Anyway.
It enabled him to kind of be a jerk. No, to be a jerk, not kind of, to be a jerk. And I wanted someone to be like, you're being a jerk.
Oh.
But no one said that. No one ever will.
Wow. All right, I'm going to say I gave this movie an overall 7. Just because, actually, no, 6. I was like, all right, it's a fun movie. I had a good time. I'm not going to rewatch it. I'm good with this. So,
yeah,
6.
6 for me too.
6.
All right, last part, take away or add a single bonus point of your choice for something in the movie that you found noteworthy. For example, if you really hated Nicolas Cage's wig, you could take a point away for that. And then let's just popcorn whoever thinks of something first.
I got one. Isaac Hayes' secret spy cam with the 110 filmer in it. +1.
I'm gonna take away a point because I really do think it could have been a musical, should have been a musical, and just no one had that thought. No one did anything with that. It was a waste.
Oh, I'm gonna add a point for some real good kid acting.
Yeah, that kid, the kid
had some
friend,
great children actors, like real children. I thought, like, I would have been like, yeah, these are legitimate children with legitimate child thoughts that are still intelligent.
Can you push my acting score up to 6, Chris? I want to account for the children
For
acting.
the kids? All right.
Yeah.
Well, one thing, what if they did just use their kids and they're like, hey, you want to go to Yankee Stadium, kids? And that was pretty much it.
Hey, you act what you know, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's see where this ends up. I feel like this is a solid middle of the road one for us. Take us there. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Number 5.
Number 5.
Wowzer.
That's surprising. Okay.
Right behind Face Off.
Wow. Huh.
Are you sure you got the math right on this thing?
No, I think it's just we did everything was kind of between 5 and 10. It averaged out. Yeah.
I think it's clustered too, like with a bunch of other movies.
Yeah, I think there's a big cluster. So just a funny thing to notice about this, and also like if you look at the right side, like a lot of these movies are very bad. So that is why, we're weighted that way. But one thing that happened last episode we did, where we had an error when we ran the spreadsheet, and I figured out later the reason that there was an error was because this film's Mom and Dad and Vampire's Kiss had the exact same score. So we had to break that tie by taking me and Chris's score and adding, whichever one was higher. So me and Chris had a slightly higher score for Mom and Dad versus Vampire's Kiss. Guys, I'm really surprised about this.
Me too. I'm blown away right now.
It's a solid romantic comedy, and now is the time when we need it. And it's good to hate. It's fun to hate, but it's also fun to love certain moments.
I would say for me, it was better than Valley Girl. Okay.
Yeah.
Was it better than Gone in 60 Seconds? So yeah, I'm on board with the score. I'm okay with it. This makes sense to me.
I really stand by, like, when people talk about like chick flick movies, I think when you think about them in the long run, they're more fun to watch because they have a more substantial plot.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, like, it's nice to remember a plot and the characters had like something going on as opposed to people yelling at each other.
Yeah, Gone in 60 Seconds has not much of a plot.
Yeah. And I think that's why it probably ranked higher.
That's very true. All right. Well, now it's time for the final part of the night where we do the Cage Gauge. It's a 2-axis plot that shows Cage's acting ability versus his craziness in a film. I have a real strong feeling of where this one's going to end up. So, all right, the Cage Gauge. It's again out of 10. All right, Lauren, what would you give Cage's trademark Cage craziness out of 10 for a score for this film?
He only has one real crazy part, right?
What part's that?
And that might be in the courtroom scene where he's like, come on!
Like one outburst?
It's one outburst. Really, it's one outburst. Every other time he's kind of like, I'm a good guy. So craziness has to be at like a 2.
A 2. All right. I'm going to stay with 0. I feel like this could have been played by anyone.
Yeah. I'm also going to say 0. I mean, when I watch a movie and I'm like, this could have been a Bruce Willis movie, that's a 0 for me.
All right. Out of
acting,
10,
I think
acting.
We all have some pretty low numbers here.
Lauren, what do you give him for acting in this one?
I wish I could know if things were intentional, because if he truly was, the word darling, like I talked about at the top, where he's like, darling, Rosie Perez, darling, and it's just, there's nothing. If that was an actual choice for him to be so void of emotion with her, as opposed to, aw, sweetie, like he is with Yvonne at the end, then I would give him more points. But I don't think it is. I think he's just bad at acting while saying the word darling, and that affects how I will score him in this movie, which is a 2.
A 2. 2s across the board. You're making me think, though, in my brain, like, okay, did Nick Cage sit down and, like, what is this guy's motivations? Well, obviously he's completely hapless, listless. He doesn't know what to do with his life. Like, what if this was all on purpose?
What if it isn't all on purpose? If it's all on purpose, but then he would get comeuppance at the end, right?
Yeah, it doesn't tie into the script, you know?
Yeah, you're right. Nick Cage is like, paycheck, I'm going to phone it in. He gets a 1 from me.
Yeah, that's a 1 for me, too.
Oh, man.
No, thank you. This is bad acting. This is very bad.
He memorized all the lines and he was there.
I think this is by far the farthest in the left bottom corner we've ever had. Let's see where it lands up. Yeah, it's down here in the less crazy bad acting quadrant. It's a real bad place to be. Some other movies in that quadrant. We got National Treasure. We got the absolute terrible film USS Indianapolis Men of Courage.
That's
This
8mm.
8mm back there. The Family Man is there. So yeah, it's not a great quadrant.
Family Man is there. He acts crazy in that movie, I think.
He's
got like a
moments.
It's averaged out, and he's got like a 3 for crazy. So it's
that's him. That's him right there. Okay.
Yeah, right here. So he's got like a 3 for crazy.
All right.
So yeah, I don't know what you can do with this information, but there it is.
We are slowly making a graph of more and more faces.
Yep.
Nice.
All right, let's bring it back to here.
All right. So we have made it through this show. We had a lot to say. We had some hot takes. Lauren, tell us about some of the projects that you're working on.
Yes. So I am working on Sleepover. It is on 2MB Studios. Sleepover is exactly what it sounds like. Picture yourself. You're back in time. You're 13 and you're having a sleepover with all your friends. We play games. We conjure ghosts. We call crushes. And we're all children. And it's super fun and great. And it actually really works well in the Zoom format, I will say. Aside from Sleepover, which is the second and fourth Saturday every month at 2MB Studios, I also bake something every single week and put it on YouTube. And it's just calming. It's just a calming time. I'm not going to teach you anything. I don't put up the recipe. But if you just like want to sit and be like, I just want to hear someone talk to me about them baking, there you go.
Where's that?
I feel like you're gonna start getting like ASMR followers.
I should, because I'm really like, all right, next we're gonna do this. Pour. Okay, now it's gonna go in the oven. So it's just calming. People need nice calming content now.
Do we get to see you take a bite out of it and like say how it is?
I do. At the end, I always take a bite. I pretty much always say like, oh, it's really good.
Oh, I just found it. Okay, wow, I had no idea this existed. This is great.
Do you have did you say your YouTube channel name?
It's just Lauren.
I don't know it.
It's Lauren. It's Lauren Chapman. It's just Lauren Chapman.
Just Lauren Chapman. I've tried to look it up so many times, and I don't understand YouTube enough to find out like what the URL is. But I've been posting something every single week, and so it's been going on for like 40 something weeks.
Yeah, you have a lot here. Wow.
It started in March. So it started right when the pandemic started.
Mini Earl Grey pies. Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry.
I
All
made
right.
them.
I got a little sidetracked. That's interesting. Cool.
All right, now I'm like looking at this is so cute. It's just all these videos of you with the food. This is great. All right.
Anyway,
nice, happy music. Like it's just nice. It's just nice content.
This is great. I'm so glad to learn about this. All right. So, yes. Any final thoughts before we say goodnight?
I want to see a musical version of this.
Yes.
That's my final thought.
Lauren, what you got?
Yeah, don't emotionally cheat on your spouse.
Yeah.
You know? And if you're going to, own up to it. Own up to it. Make a nice, clean, healthy cut.
Decide your future. Don't let it be decided for you.
Wow.
All right, guys. We
some heavy shit.
A big month of romantic movies ahead of us. We are going to be watching the movie Moonstruck next week with our friend Lara Drayson. It's on Valentine's Day, so we'll be having a little wine and chocolate during it. Should be fun. And then we have after that the movie Next, which is not a romantic movie, but will also be interesting. And then our final in the month of romance is City of Angels, the last Sunday of the month. So that's what we've got coming up. And we will see you all next week. Thank you again, Lauren. You've been a great guest, and it's been awesome to have you.
Yay!
See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.